Hey everybody! Hey everybody! Hey everybody! It says we're live. Welcome to another showing of Chew the Fat with Rollin Picker and KatyTrader. Uh, we do have a special guest today, and we'll be getting to her shortly. I want you guys to know KatyTrader's not here today. He's out riding his motorcycle, and then today or yesterday was his dad's birthday, so him and Lily are going over there to do a birthday dinner with him. So my sidekick, so get this, my daughter will be helping moderate, and she'll be here in case I have any technical difficulties, because she's pretty smart too. But anyway, I want to welcome you guys. You're all in for a treat, but before we get to that treat, I want to acknowledge some people that are here. Um, I want to say hello to Layla's here, Jennifer, John, love your brother, and know that good-looking guy isn't here. Like I said, it's Cupcake. Patty, Jennifer, Dwayne, right on, brother. I'm glad you could make it. Mary, and who else? Hey, Hedwig's here. Cool. Darlene, glad you could make it. Glad to have you here. Selena, always good seeing you and having you. Same, Sawana, glad you could make it. Casey, brother, I'm glad you came, man. Love having you here. Angie's here, so get this. Kim, welcome. Carla, we're not going to take up too much time because I definitely want to get over to MSP auction to check out all the stuff you're going to have there for sale. Guys, don't forget after this, we go over to Dwayne, Mothership Products channel for her. Mary, welcome. Velvet Sunflower, I'm so glad you're here. Glad you can make it. Cindy, Jewelry Nurse, glad you can make it, Cindy. Texas Fowl, Etc. Emporium. Patty, and Ansley's here. Okay, I can start now. Just wanted to make sure everybody's here. Oh, and Bumcrack, he made it. Good to have you here, brother. That's my other brother from another mother. He's over in Europe there in England, right? Or are you, you're not Ireland, you're England. Sandy's here, and we just had a giveaway over at Sandy's channel today. And guess what? Dwayne, you guys, Dwayne, if you weren't there, Dwayne won the mandrel and the ring fitting set. Pretty cool. And Nancy won the tumbler, and bike contest. He won the copper made bracelet that had a piece of turquoise on it. Really beautiful piece. We all watched it being made. All right. I guess we're going to start by letting you guys know that we have a special guest today, and it is none other than Boujee Bear Vintage. You all know her as April. So let me click on there to you, April, so they can see you. And she offered to come on and talk about her, well, a little bit about herself, how she finds the jewelry, what she does. I know she does collaborations with Casey, and I think Cindy loves jewelry. She does something with her as well, I think. So you guys, you have to excuse me, I got a head cold going on, guys. If you're in the chat and you can put your links to your channels there, do it. If not, I'd ask my my mods if they could help. Hey, Anita, glad you could make it. And I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to let this wonderful person, April, tell you all about herself. So, April, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're at, and I'd be interested in how you got started with the jewelry business and the reselling.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Yes, I'm April, Boujee Bear Vintage. I sell on Etsy and Poshmark, and occasionally I'll throw things on eBay. I do vintage clothing, jewelry, hats, purses, shoes. I live here in Georgia. That's where I live. And I got started with jewelry, I guess jewelry in particular, really when my fiance's grandmother passed away, and she had a lot of stuff left behind that he wasn't interested in doing anything with, and I fell in love with it, and we brought it back from Chicago down here, and I told him, I was like, I could find a means to sell some of these things. And so I started creating stores and listing some of those things, and then I started thrifting and found out about jewelry jars and started digging through jewelry jars and finding more treasures. So it just grew from there. And I've always liked vintage, items. I thought they were cool and interesting. So it's fun to to thrift for those and find those hard to find pieces that you just don't find in the department stores today.
Okay. So, I think we were talking earlier. Do you find most of your well, wait, before we start that, I got to ask, how the heck did you come up with Boujee Bear Vintage? I mean, I didn't even know what bougie was or bougie or was until you kind of schooled me on it. And I'm just curious how you came up with that. I'm sure everybody's kind of wondering how you came up with the bougie bear. I mean, does it involve a teddy bear or something, or?
Well, I do make teddy bears that I call Boujee Bears, but the name I can kind of give to Casey because Casey would see me sometimes when I was in like a good mood and I wanted to dress up. And I'm a jeans and t-shirt girl, so mostly, I'm not really dressed up. I will have my jewelry on no matter what I'm wearing. And sometimes I'll get my hair dolled up, put my makeup on, and maybe dress my clothes up a little bit. And he'd see me and he'd be like, "Oh, you looking bougie today." And so, that name just kind of stuck in my head. And they have a little hip hop song called Bad and Bougie. And I knew that was really catchy and popular at the time. And I was picking up teddy bears. Excuse me, I think I spit. I was picking up teddy bears along the way at the thrift stores because I just think they're adorable. So I could get them for a couple dollars here and there, and I would find the really nice designer teddy bears that are good quality. And I started putting jewelry and stuff on them and scarves and I decided that I would name those Boujee Bears. So that's where I got the name of the store, and that's one of the things that I make myself is the Boujee Bears.
Very cool. Right on. Hey guys, toward the end of the show, we're going to be asking any questions that you guys might have. So to make it easier for me to see the question and identify it so I don't miss it, if you can do the question like you can do at Rollin Picker, it'll make it red, and then ask your question, and I'll know that that'll be a question for April. Okay, so that kind of helps me out, and that'll keep things moving smoothly, and I don't miss anybody then, okay? Because we definitely don't want to do that. So since you mentioned about these bougie bears, do you have, can we see what a bougie bear is? And can you talk a little bit about it? Because that sounds very intriguing. I mean, who doesn't like teddy bears? Come on, guys, right? I mean, even Dwayne's a big teddy bear, and we all love him. So,
Yeah, I have a couple right here. If you can see my closet behind me here,
that's a lot of bears.
There's a bunch of bears up at the top there. And here's one here that I do have in my store. I took the brooch off of it. It was on there too. But yeah, I'll take a bear like this. And this is a Build-A-Bear workshop dress that I purchased separately and put on the bear. And this is one of those Vermont teddy bears. I always look for the ones that are posable because I want, for the purpose of them, I want them to be able to set like this because I'm thinking, you can set it on your jewelry box or on your dresser or side table or wherever you want to display it. And it comes with the jewel. I put the jewelry on there. I try to go with a theme or a look to the whole bear. And I usually put like 5 pieces of jewelry. This one is not fully dressed right now. Like I said, she's got 1, 2. This would be the third. And then she needs like 2 more pieces. I had kind of deconstructed her a little bit. But yeah, so I would just do that. And sometimes I'll find little hats like they go on dolls and I'll put it on there. Or I'll put a brooch here on their head as like a hairpiece, it would look like a hair bow on her, but you would actually be able to take it off and wear it as a brooch. And all of these things are wearable pieces. These are all vintage. You got your Aurora Borealis clip-on earrings. You have your Aurora Borealis double strand necklace here. And then you have this brooch. So all of these pieces are wearable. And the idea is for if, someone wanted to purchase it to, collect their jewelry on or change it out and, decorate it with different jewelry. But you can always share your jewelry with the teddy bear and let the teddy bear wear it when you're not wearing it. Or, if you just wanted to leave it on there because it's cute that way, or as a dress up thing for little girls, you could purchase it for a little girl that might want to play dress up and take it off the bear and wear it, or change the jewelry out on the bear, that kind of thing. But
Right
that's a
on.
Boujee Bear.
Well, we got an echo there. Is that you or me?
I don't hear any echo from my end.
You don't? I do.
I don't hear anything from your end.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Thanks,
Well, I guess
Carla.
we're all good. I screwed up, guys. I was putting up the descriptions real fast, and I was trying to put people's names in there, and I want to give everybody the right credit. Um, if you go in there and you look, you're going to find April's store, Etsy store, and her YouTube channel. And then I've got Alma, who I bought the cap from. I want to give credit to this baseball cap from Posh Closet or Posh Closet, but I didn't edit out Val's information. So if anybody knows Alma, she's I can't remember the name, Thrifting Escapes or something. If somebody can go get the link and put it up for me, I'd really appreciate it here in the chat, because I want to give Alma credit before I can edit the thing. My bad. I was running behind because I was all over the place buying stuff today. So I was a bad cupcake, and I apologize for that. So if anybody that's can go over there and look and help me out, I truly appreciate it. Okay, so these bears, could you technically like also use them, like if you came home from work, you took your pendant off, you could, or necklace, you could throw it on them instead of throwing it in the
Yeah, instead
jewelry?
of throwing it in your jewelry box, you can just put it on your bear somewhere. This is like a way to store your jewelry, display your jewelry, and just cute decorative thing. That's kind of the intention that I was going for, because a lot of these bears, they get thrown away to the thrift stores and stuff, but they're beautiful bears and they're good quality. This bear here by itself, could sell for $30 or $40, and right now I have them listed at $40, but I also am open to customize ones. So you can pick out the jewelry that you want for the bear. I could put it on the bear and make it one thing, and maybe it might be a little bit more if you wanted more jewelry, but I just kind of went with like 4 to 5 pieces at $40. So it's kind of like getting a jewelry lot as well.
Uh-huh. Selena, is that costume or custom? She says, can you, I guess, costume the outfit or custom the outfit? I guess, I mean, how do you get the clothes for the bear?
I
Or,
source the clothes and I try to go for vintage doll clothes or vintage bear clothes, but sometimes that's hard to find. So like I said, sometimes I find the Build-A-Bear workshop type uh, outfits and things. But yes, I have one that's kind of themed like a school teacher. This one, she's more like a little girly princess kind of bear. I have a boy bear that I've been working on for a while, but he's kind of got a beach theme to him. He's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and he's got some sunglasses on. And so I have kind of themes for him. So if you knew what kind of theme you wanted for your bear, I could start there and, aim the jewelry to kind of go with the outfit and everything.
um, Dwayne's got a question. I don't know if you answered it at the beginning or not, but why Bougie? Oh, why Bougie Bear for a name?
Because
Yeah,
she's
why couldn't it
because
have
she's
been
bougie, because she's dressed
Yeah.
up with her jewelry and everything. She's all
Okay,
bougie.
okay, so you decided that instead of like going April's jewelry jar or whatever, or April's. Yeah, you need a catchy name. Okay, Dwayne, does that?
Yeah.
That's a good question though. Um, Let me see here. Let me see if there's any other questions, because I do have some that I had from I saved. Okay, guys, I saved these questions from when I interviewed Cindy, because I think they're really good for all of these. Now, when you sell the jewelry, when you get a jewelry sale, um, how do you ship them? Do you use boxes? And if you use the boxes, where do you get them from?
I do get my boxes. I do jewelry jars. I know I use the 8x8x8, and I get those from Uline. I order those from Uline, and those are for like my jewelry jars, or I guess if somebody were to order a large amount of jewelry at one time, sometimes I've had orders of up to 5 pieces of jewelry at a time. So if I needed a box for that, which I generally don't, but yeah, I use those boxes, and then I use a lot of the padded mailers for stuff. But I wrap them and tissue paper or put them in a actual jewelry box, type box. A lot of those I get, you know, when I go to estate sales and stuff, I might buy a piece from there and they actually have boxes. I found boxes from estate sales where other people were jewelry sellers and I could buy a bunch of them at a time. I found a bunch of these little drawstring like bags too, and they have like little dividers in them that you can store and put your jewelry in. Then you cinch it up like a little bag and it keeps your jewelry in there. I have different little things like that that I can use. It depends on the price of the jewelry. If they're spending a lot on that piece, then I'm definitely going to put it in a box, you know, with tissue paper and, you know, make it like, you know, really nice. If not, I probably just wrap it in tissue paper and secure it that way and, you know, put it in a little bit of bubble wrap or something like that and then stick it in a mailer.
Okay, so if they spend a lot of money, they get a really nice bag and bubble wrap and a tissue in a box. And if they don't spend hardly any money, you just throw it in a Ziploc baggie and put it in a bubble mailer. Or
No, the Ziploc baggies, you only get that from me if you're buying auction stuff. I only Ziploc baggie and throw in a mailer just like that. Or no,
okay,
and you get a nice card, thank you card, and all of that. Yeah, no, I make it like a gift. I mean, regardless, but if they're spending more, then yes, I'm going to have the box, the actual jewelry type box to put the pieces in. Or if it's something like rhinestone jewelry where it might something could come out of it or something like that, yeah. But otherwise, I just take it, put it in tissue paper, wrap it up, you know, secure it in there, and tape it up. And the mailers work fine. I've got 5-star review everywhere, so people love it.
now
Never
I know
had a
you sell them.
problem.
You sell on Posh and you sell on Etsy. So do you treat Posh and Etsy the same then when it comes to the shipping? And
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yep.
cool.
I
Um,
want that whole experience, and I hand out my cards too, so that way if they buy from me on Posh, they can also go check out my store on Etsy.
oh, that's a good idea. Carmen has a question. How did you become a seller?
Because we inherited so much stuff, and I needed to get rid of it. I really didn't know. I wanted to start my own business because I had worked retail for a really long time, and health wise, I physically couldn't keep up with those jobs anymore. But when his grandmother passed away, and we had so much stuff that we had inherited, and he told me he used to sell on eBay, and he could show me how to use eBay. So I started out with eBay, and then I decided I wanted to go towards more of a boutique kind of style. And I found out by watching some of Angie Treasured Vintage and Tanya and a couple of other YouTubers that, you know, Etsy was a market that I could go to, and that would be more towards what I wanted to do with all the jewelry and the clothing and everything. So that's my main focus, is my Etsy store.
All right. Dwayne has a question, and I think we're getting now down into jewelry specifics. He wants to know, what is your favorite stone?
My favorite stone, diamond.
Well, that's a girl's best friend, right?
Right. I love diamonds, but I love turquoise. I do love um what is lapis. I like lapis lazuli. Yeah, I love a lot of the natural stones. They're real pretty, but yeah, I mean, if it's it's diamonds number one.
Um, San Juana has a question. What is your favorite style to dress the bear? I mean, because you
I
said
guess
you
I
had a
don't
boy
really.
bear. You said you had a
Yeah.
boy bear, and I've been over to your Etsy store, and you did have some bears in there, like one you called a school teacher. Then there was another one that was wearing a wool coat, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it had a dress on too or not. And then this one, and then there was a blue. I mean, how do you? That's a good question.
I
I mean,
don't
what is
really
your
go
favorite
for a
style?
particular. Yeah, I don't go for a particular. It's like whatever I can source as far as like my first giveaway on my YouTube channel was an Asian geisha bear. She was wearing a traditional shungsum dress with a little handbag, and she had, you know, Oriental style jewelry and everything on it. I don't know if Carly Q, no, Carly Q didn't get that one. I forget who my first subscriber winner was, but someone got that one from me. And then I have one that I've used on, if you've ever received my business card, you see a picture of one on my business card. that one, she was styled as a flapper bear from like the 20s. She had like a little headband on, a little feather in her head. And I tried to aim the jewelry around that. So it's just like, really, I start with the outfit that I find and then work the jewelry around the outfit that I find for the bear.
Cool. Boy, Dwayne's full of questions, and these are good ones. Are you a silver girl or a gold girl for yourself?
For myself, I love silver and I love gold. I tend to lean more towards white gold. I like white, so I like the white metals more than the yellow tone. But I do wear gold tone jewelry too. And this is a I got this for my birthday. This is like a
Oh man,
sparkly kind of bougie bear. It's a Swarovski bear.
he's cute. He's cute, man. Um, okay, I've got a question that Angie, my daughter, had asked a couple weeks ago, and I think it's pretty good because lately you've been seeing a lot of Monet out
Mm-hmm.
there, and I've been getting a lot of Monet. I even bought her the book, and we've been having kind of a hard time looking at the pictures to determine like whether it's vintage or not. So what her question was is she has some Monet earrings that she wants to put on Posh. How do I find the exact pair to do comps, or do I find something similar?
Right. Yeah. If you start with a piece that, seems vintage and you don't know anything about it because it's not marked and you want to start somewhere, you really have to spend more time learning about the style of the jewelry, knowing the terms of the jewelry, like if it has pave set rhinestones or if it's a medallion necklace or if it's, let's see, what's some other terms? If it's a aurora boreal like this one, this one doesn't have a designer name on it, but you would search double strand aurora borealis choker style necklace. That would be the terms that I would put in, and then I would find similar ones to this and find out about, this was probably from the 40s or the 50s, so I would find out, a lot of information about it that way, and then, price accordingly to what I see other people price it at. Or if I happen to have a book, that actually gives you some values and stuff, you could go off of that as well.
Um, Cindy Juniors has a question. Just recently started watching your channel. So how? Hold on, this chat's moving. Slow down, guys. How are her and Casey related, or are they family friends? How did they know each other?
We are besties. We're friends. We're not family. We feel like family though. But we met about 11 years ago now. It's been almost 11 years, working at a teleconferencing center called Intercall, where we took phone calls and did online conference calls. So, yeah, that's how we met as coworkers.
Right on. Going on the Monet thing, because last night I appreciate you helping me with my closet because I had it all jacked up. Guys, I'm telling you, you think you know everything? No, you never know everything. My stuff was so jacked up. She looked at it and she said, "Oh, we got to do something about this." At first, I thought it was my pictures and stuff, but it was my titles and my descriptions, and then my pricing. I was like way off on a few pieces. So this question, I'd be very interested. Monet seems to be kind of hot because lately in all the auctions that are on YouTube or anywhere, it's always Monet equals money, and I do agree with that to a certain extent. And it seems like it's hot again. How do you base your prices? Do you base the price on the trend because it's hot, becoming hot again, or on what you paid? How do you determine? If you're looking at the book and you're saying, "Oh, I've got this," but the trend, it's coming up and it's getting hot again. Do you base it off of the price you paid for it or that trend thing that's happening?
I don't base anything off of what I pay for it necessarily. I have a set price range. I'm not going to pay more than $10 for a piece unless I know the value's over $200. I'm just not going to do it.
Mhm.
And I don't keep up with the trends that well. I know Angie and Tanya started doing a seasonal trends in jewelry and things video, which would be great for everyone to keep up with. And I intend on watching it every time because I mean, you might start your research and you might come across a couple of articles or things that show up for you that say, oh, this style is popular right now. But really, with vintage jewelry, it has its value that sticks with it because sometimes there, 5 pieces still left in existence of something because it is, vintage. And a lot of things get destroyed along the way, and you're not always going to, I mean, there's pieces I have that I found once and I'll never find them again, probably. So you really can a lot of times you can base your price just off of that, the rarity of it.
That's some good info. I know that last night when you were helping me, I didn't realize because I didn't know something was vintage, even though in my description I had 1989. It just didn't dawn on me. And this question, I think, will kind of answer that. Say, like I have this piece of jewelry, no
Mhm.
markings. How do I begin, or how would you begin to research it to see if it has any value to it at all?
Again, that would go back to the terms of learning like the style of jewelry. So you need to start with the style of that jewelry and look it up. And then once you learn the style, you know that this style was during this time period or this style was during that time period. So that's going to put you in the range of, when that piece of jewelry was probably made. And then, that's really how you find the value is what you see other people listed online. Like I said, unless you have the Monet book or the Napier book or some of these other books that actually give you the values of things.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times
Um,
it's just whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. If they love it that much, they're going to pay that much for it.
okay. Um, Dwayne wants to know best jewelry flip.
Best jewelry flip. I wish I was prepared for that. Can I have a second on that one to look on my
Yeah,
Etsy store?
yeah, you can have a second on that. I guess what I'd say is this. I'll ask you this while you're looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
I have a okay, we know I have a problem. I am turning into a hoarder. And thank God you're going to help me get rid of some of this fine jewelry. How how do you keep from keeping and not selling? You know what I'm saying? How do you keep from like just having it stack up when you know you're in the business to make money? How do you not hoard?
I do. I have a large jewelry box that will hold I had to ask for that for Christmas. I had to ask for one of those tall wardrobe style jewelry armoires because I was running out of space for all
So
this stuff. I
you're a little
usually,
hoarder.
yeah, I love it. I find great stuff all the time. So I'm like, oh, that's going in my jewelry box. I probably tend to keep one thing out of everything I pick up. If I go to an estate sale and I buy like 10 pieces, one of those is probably going to stay with me. And I
Uh-huh.
mean, that's the way I get my own jewelry is like I buy all this jewelry and I sell this. So it ends up meaning that the piece that I keep for myself was free for me. So,
Well, that's fair. Um, did you find
and
it yet? Because I got a
I did. I did.
okay.
It was a vintage Desert Rose Trading Company turquoise bead necklace. I got that at Salvation Army for $1.09 or no, $2.99.
That's pretty.
And it's sold with shipping for $69.45
Well, that's not bad for on a buck.
on $2.99 investment. I
2.99.
made,
That's not bad.
yeah. Mm.
Well, I'm not that lucky. Dia Immortal Hourglass has a question. She's for you, April. What is your favorite name brand of jewelry to find and flip?
I seem to like, and you mean vintage designers?
Or just, I guess it could be any of them because
Because
I know
I'm
there
not
was a
really
brand.
good with the more modern stuff. Like I know some of the designers of the modern stuff, but I like the vintage more. I like Trifari. I love the pieces that I find in Trifari. I see really nice pieces in Trifari. So Crown Trifari.
Okay. Um, Let me see here. I've kind of catch up with the chat, guys. Forgive this old man.
But if to know me best is to know I like fine jewelry more than anything.
Okay, so what? I'm being serious. I know there's like junk jewelry, and then there's I mean, fashion jewelry. If I'm learning the terms in the fine jewelry, what is the difference? I mean, because I've seen some stuff that they say is fine jewelry and it looks beautiful. I
Hmm.
mean, what do they mean by fine? Is that like the real expensive stuff?
Fine jewelry means it's made from precious or semi-precious stones in a precious metal, like sterling silver, gold, platinum, those kind of things. That's fine jewelry. It's real everything. It's not rhinestones and costume and gold tone. It's actual gold or silver, you know, or platinum or something like that.
Okay.
But
Um,
to look at it the way I explained it to you the other night the way I look at it is you have your fine jewelry, then you have your costume jewelry, and then you have your fashion jewelry. And that would be best would be your fine jewelry. That's the most expensive. Then you have costume pieces, which some of those costume pieces, because of their rarity and the designer that made them, can actually bring you prices that fine jewelry can bring you. But then you have fashion jewelry, which is just, the stuff that you find at Walmart that girls will pick it up just to wear with an outfit one time and might not ever wear it again. It's, plastic stones or just gold tone stuff. But, some people love that stuff. And I'm just not really into the fashion jewelry.
so I suppose that I'm selling a lot of fashion jewelry, but that's okay. I still love it, the sparklies.
You have
I noticed.
some modern designer pieces in your Poshmark.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have known that unless you'd have pointed it out to me. It was all the same, basically. But um, on the jewelry thing with the marks, I know I get a lot of stuff that doesn't have marks. Um, is there any kind of way to find out if that's not what you said, which is the fashion jewelry? I mean, can some pieces not have a mark and still be a fine jewelry, or will fine jewelry always have a mark on it?
Fine jewelry, yeah, fine jewelry is going to be marked for silver or for gold. You'll know if it has diamonds or rubies or emeralds or whatever, that's fine jewelry. Your fashion jewelry a lot of times probably won't have a mark on it unless it was made by like the Jessica Simpson or something like that. That's fashion jewelry too.
All right. I don't know what room they're talking about, but I think they're curious about your. Is that your storage place or your eBay or Posh room or that you're
This is
in?
my work office room here that's stocked to the brim with clothing and jewelry and everything.
Can we get a peek?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
like, what's the best way to do that?
I like that organizer back there. I've had one like that on the wall.
These two, oh, okay, yeah, on the wall. Yeah, that one I use for Poshmark. So when I'm going through my jars or whatever, the pieces that are signed, fashion jewelry or costume pieces or whatever, that I know that are like more modern and stuff that I actually will deal with because I usually don't keep it unless it's signed by somebody like Betsy Johnson or something like that, or Lucky Brand or whatever. But I put them in each individual little slot there, and I just grab one out and do the listing, and then I bag my once I've listed it, I bag it up, and then you see these two drawers over here?
Yeah, I see those two that got which brings a question that he wanted to know Dwayne wants to know who's the sexy brunette behind you. She's on
That's
your.
I don't have a name for her. Maybe you should give me one, Dwayne. But that's my mannequin head right there. And she's bald headed, so I can change out her, hair and stuff. I got her another wig the other day.
We could call her Dwayneette.
Okay, she'll be Dwayne X. But these two drawers here, I have one drawer that's brooches, one drawer that's necklaces, one drawer that's bracelets, and then I have a drawer down there that's completely full of watches that I need to get rid of. But once I've listed it, I put it in a Ziploc bag and I stick it in the necklace drawer if it's a necklace or a bracelet or whatever. And that's how I organize it. So when I make a sale, I go in there and all I have to do is look through the bracelets and find the right bracelet, or look through the necklaces and find the right necklace, and ship it.
Anything over there behind your other shoulder? Supplies or things that people should.
And yes, and this is my laptop, so I'm gonna have to pick it up and show it to you. But this is kind of what I got going on in here.
Wow, look at all of that goodness.
And that's
Oh my.
not everything.
All right.
Boxes on the floor. stuff, jewelry boxes over here in the corner that have jewelry in them. But that's kind of a little bit of it. You can look down, see all that down there on the floor.
Oh, Lord.
That's all those precious gemstones and glass beads and things like that that I've got that I'm going to put in that craft auction. I mean, dark.
Wow. Dwayne, do you want to start calling it? I'll start with $1. Wow, you've got a lot. Is that all for sale? Or is that your
Yeah,
keeping?
my stuff is in my room, so yeah, anything
Oh,
in here.
okay. Gosh, that's a lot. He said, Dwayne said, instead of Dwayne, how about Diane? Close enough to his name. And then he wanted to know if we could hook her up with Fernando. Dwayne, Dwayne.
Sure.
Dwayne. Yeah. Lynn's asking, did you get the storage units at Target?
Yes, I think those did come from Target. I love that color, so I told Tyrone when he was at Target one day to pick me up some pull drawers, and he found the ones in the color that I like.
Okay. And gosh, guys, I thought we were going to have a lot more questions. I mean, I'm just like, well, you know what? I got a few more. No, I know Fernando is lonely. Not your fault, Dwayne. Oy. So when you're going and buying, okay, do you have a way to determine, okay, okay, this is posh and this is going to be Etsy? Because I know Etsy is more leaned toward vintage. Or do you just say, I'm going to cross post them on both platforms? And then when you do that, do you keep the price the same between both? Or do you put a little more on one, like on Etsy than you would on Posh or vice versa?
Right. I don't go looking for posh pieces. I go looking for my stuff for my Etsy, and I buy the jars. So whatever comes out of the jars, if it's worth putting on Poshmark, it goes on Poshmark. But that's just how I get my Poshmark supplies for real. Is like I'm not really out there buying stuff, specifically for Posh. But the cross posting, yeah, I can cross post the vintage over to Poshmark, but I can't put the Poshmark modern pieces on Etsy because of the age. But on Poshmark, because they take such a high percent, I do tend to sometimes put it a little bit higher on Poshmark because once somebody makes an offer or they take their portion, I might not make as much as I would on Etsy.
So, okay, I know that on Posh, when you price it over $20, or over 15, it's 20%. What's is there a listing fee at Etsy and final value fee? I mean, the fee's
They
much better.
they have just recently changed it, so I don't know exactly what they're taking out now. But it used to be before they did the change that they only took their portion out of the actual price of the sale. But now they're taking the price of the sale plus the shipping and then taking their percent out of that. So I'm not quite sure what it is, but I know me and Angie talked about it one time. It's still less than eBay is and Poshmark is. So.
All right. Cindy Jewelry Nurse has a question for you.
Mhm.
She says, I tend to get a lot of necklaces when I buy jewelry jars. What do you get the most in your jewelry jars?
I get a lot of fashion pieces. I do find some vintage costume, and I find some fine jewelry and stuff too. Necklaces, I think necklaces pile up on me more than bracelets or earrings or any of that. So probably necklaces mostly.
Oh, man, Anita. Oh, wait, I got to go back up. Oh, Sonia, we're going to go Sonia first. What's your favorite rings or bangles?
My favorite rings or bangles that
Which
I
one do you like the
own
most?
or
Which one do you like the most, rings or bangles?
oh,
I would think.
rings probably. Yeah, because I wear a lot of rings.
Yeah, what is it with you ladies? You've got a lot of rings. Anita wears a lot of rings. Thelma wears a
Because
lot
you
of
got
rings.
10
Is it like
fingers,
you?
why not?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you don't have enough rings. That's cool. I like it. Anyway, it's cool. Anita's got a good question here. Do you have a piece of jewelry you can't live without? Your favorite?
Uh, Like that I own or that I want or
No,
whatever.
no, I think that's your own. Do you have a piece of jewelry you can't live without your favorite?
My diamond
The
rings.
which one is that? The very bottom or the middle one?
This one here is my favorite. This one came from his grandmother.
And that's all diamonds?
That's diamonds. There's 3 diamonds there, and then there's marquise. There's marquise inset around it too. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Wow, that's a gorgeous ring.
And then this one I got in LA, and it's got a European cut diamond in the center, but it's been set into a vintage style setting. That's an actual vintage stone there in the center, but the setting is simulating a vintage setting.
Wow, those are some pretty rings.
Thank you.
I don't know. You kind of like mostly answered everything that. Oh wait, new jewelry nurse would come up with a question here. Which of which of your stores do you tend to get most sales on? eBay, Etsy, or Poshmark?
Etsy. Mm-hmm. And that could be because Poshmark I haven't put as much energy into. eBay I definitely don't put that much energy into because it's just more or less when I find something that's probably not even related to the rest of the stuff that I sell, but I know that it's a quick flip or a good deal or whatever. I'm like, oop, grab it up and throw it on eBay. But yeah,
So
Etsy.
so Etsy then is your go-to bread and butter. That's where you make
Mm-hmm.
the most of your money. So your vintage uh, pieces go up there. Um, Sandy is here and she's got a question.
Okay.
Your favorite color?
Is that like what I call Tiffany blue, like those like uh, shelves over there?
Uh, Cindy loves jewelry. I think she came in late. Have you shown a Boujee Bear? I think you might want to show her Boujee Bear yet. Maybe you might want to show the bear again for Cindy.
Right. Yes, Cindy. Here's one. This is not even the best example right now because I'm kind of redoing her, and I'm going to add some different pieces of jewelry to her. She has a brooch that goes up here that's actually an enameled rose, so it looks like she has a rose in her hair, and she has another brooch that goes here on her dress. But you can see her fully dressed in my shop if you want to go check out my shop.
Yeah, those links I have correct in the description. I'm gonna have to go in and clean up fix the other ones. Okay, Dwayne's got another good, and this is a good question. What does Tyrone think about your jewelry adventures?
He gets into it. Like now, when he goes to the Goodwill or somewhere like that, and I'm still just here at the house, he'll call me and he'll say, "There's a jewelry jar here. You want me to get it?" And I'm like, "You know I do." And he brings it home for me. So
So
he
you
sees how
have him
well I do with it. He's totally excited about
you have him trained well.
it.
That's good. Go get the jewelry jar.
I do that for
Uh,
him too. I pick up video games and controllers or whatever, or records that he likes that he sells on eBay.
Belinda has a question for you. I hope you haven't answered it. She says, "At what age did you fall in love with jewelry?"
Oh, how young was I? Very young. I know that. I used to love digging through my grandmother's jewelry box, looking at the stuff that my mom had, borrowing stuff from my mom. And I remember my great aunt bought me a jewelry box from Florida that was handmade out of wood. I still have it till today that she gave me to put my jewelry in. So, yeah, I've loved jewelry for a long time.
Cindy loves jewelry. Cindy has a question for you again. Did you find anything good at the estate sale this weekend?
I didn't go, Cindy. I didn't go. I needed to restrain myself. So I know I was going to get those Whiting and Davis mesh handbags, but I didn't.
Terrible. Dwayne says, awesome to have a helper, significant other. Most definitely, Dwayne. He's got another question. What is your oldest piece of jewelry?
I have some pieces that are from the Victorian period. I have some brooches that I've found. So probably the 1800s. Or no, I take that back. I did find some pieces that are like they're the Indian Buddhas, and they're made out of some kind of clay, and they're inset with like a silver setting around them. And doing some research, me and Casey came up with they could possibly be way older than that. So I don't know how old exactly, but they could be actually like relics.
Wow. And mentioning Casey, I got a question for you. When you and your BFF go shopping, do you ever fight over who's going to get what?
No, but I feel like sometimes, like, yeah, you can see that I want that and he wants that. So we have to come to some kind of compromise. If
So
you're going
no,
to get this, then I get to get this or something like that. And we went and grabbed some jars. Like we got 11 jars at one time. So
wow.
I know that, we had to pick, which one do you want? Which one do I want?
I know when you mentioned jars, I know Angie told me, I said, when you go to Goodwill, why don't you grab a jewelry jar? And she says, there's no way. They've got it marked at $75 in the Goodwill here for a jewelry jar. So, which I find, and she says, I think it's because they're watching the videos. Uh, what's the basic price you find the jewelry jars at where you're at? The cost, the price.
Well, they fluctuate. I've seen them at times get like super expensive. They would just get ridiculous with their prices and ask $45 to $50 for a jar. But then they realized nobody was really buying them at that price, so they went back down. But depending on whether it's like a small jar, because they use these old glass vases, the flower vases to put stuff in. Sometimes they'll be like this big, and then like the one I did in my video the other night was I had a huge one. So the huge one was like $40, but like I can get the smaller ones from around $7.99 to $9.99.
Okay, Dee's got another question for you. What does jewelry mean to you, such as statement, status, beauty, etc.? Asking because my husband asked me the other day, and I didn't have any answer for myself. She didn't have an
That
answer for
they're
herself.
like treasures to me. I look at them like that, like treasure hunting. Me and my youngest son both, he loves digging through the jars with me because, it's like finding treasure. And so, it's they're just beautiful. I mean, stones are natural and they're from nature too, so they're part of the earth. And I don't know, it has its own beauty. It's just
Wow,
sparkle.
sounds like a good answer to me. Anita's got a question. I know that everybody asks every reseller, and this is a great question. Have you ever sold a piece and couldn't find it?
Yes. Yes,
That
that
seems to
happened to
be a
me one time.
universal answer.
Just one time so far, and after I canceled the order and apologized, I found it like a day or two later, and I contacted her back and I said, I do apologize that I couldn't find it for you before, but I have it now. Are you still interested? And she was more than happy to purchase it. So I didn't lose the sale, thank goodness.
Okay. Belinda has a question. What is the distance between your house and Casey's?
That's a 45-minute drive down 185. I mean, I-85, not 185.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, it's like, that's within a reasonable amount of driving. I mean, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, geez, I had so many questions. I wrote them down. I lost that paper. Then I got this other one. Oh, there. Dwayne's bailed me out with a really quick one. Favorite holiday? Because jewelry, people give it during holidays. So, what's your favorite holiday?
It would be a non-jewelry holiday probably. I enjoy Halloween because I like to dress up and do that. So Halloween, I think, my favorite holiday.
So, on Halloween, do you dress up when you go out shopping for jewelry?
I was out and about this Halloween. I had went to the salon. My friend, she's in cosmetology school, so she's the one that did my hair and everything for my costume. And I was out and about in that costume. It doesn't bother me. I mean, it's Halloween. Everybody's pretty accepting that you're looking a little different that day.
And Dwayne says, awesome costume this year. I guess he saw the costume?
Thank you, Dwayne. Yeah, there's a video up of me and Casey dressed up in our costumes.
Well, I'm going to have to go check that video out. I don't know how I missed it because I've been watching most of your videos. And thinking of the videos, when you do your auctions on because everybody's doing auctions now, um, do you think that that'll ever take off for you to where you'll do more of that and not the Etsy or the online thing? Or is that just kind of like a thing to just get some inventory moved so you can have some more space, to buy more things and so you can hit that target piece that you're looking for?
Right. Yeah, that's what it started with. It's just a way so that I can keep buying these jars, but I don't become overwhelmed with the stuff that I don't need or don't want to keep for myself. So that way I can share it with the community, other people that like to collect or people that want to resell it, however they want to use it. That's the way it's become. But now because it's so popular and people want more jewelry, it seems I'm out there looking for specific things that I think that they would want and that I can sell in the auction. So
Okay. Sandy Love Jewelry has a question for you. What is your favorite natural stone?
favorite natural stone would probably be the turquoise. I like the white buffalo.
Turquoise.
I have a piece here to show you today of white buffalo that I found in a
Man,
jar.
that white buffalo, I've been seeing it all over the place on YouTube. It's got me quite excited. I mean, it's totally unusual. I mean, when you're used to seeing something else. Um,
Mm.
let's see. Oh, Barbara has a question for you. How many pieces of jewelry do you think you have? Now, I'm going to say first, that's probably your personal collection. I would go first.
Yeah.
And then the other that we saw down there's got to be gazillions in that room.
I have hundreds in my personal collection. I don't know how many hundreds. Probably over 200 at least. And then in this room is probably in the thousands.
And I wanted to ask you about that with the room, seeing how it was looking. Do you ever get to a point where you have so much and you get behind and you decide, I've just got to get rid of this? I mean, do you give it away or do you redonate it or do you just do like a big box lot and price it to just get it the hell out of there? I mean, because I know for me, it gets overwhelming. And I imagine looking at, even though you're well organized, it's got to get overwhelming for you at times.
It does, and the auctions save me on that point because at one point my dining room was consumed with jewelry. I didn't have this room in the beginning. This used to be my brother's room when he lived here with us. And when he moved out, I actually took it over and made it my office. So this saved me having a space to put everything. But yeah, the auctions are the reason why I'm not overwhelmed. And I've learned to restrain myself at times, like this weekend when I didn't go to the estate sale.
I need to learn restraint, that's for sure. Dia's got a question for you. And now I just want you to know, men aren't supposed to ask women their ages, but Dia's cool. She's cool. Question
Right.
is, how old are you? And at what age did you list your first item for sale? That's a good question.
I've been reselling since 2016. That's when I first started with eBay. So I'm now 37. I just turned 37. So I was 35.
Wow. So you've only been selling for a few years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, I thought with all the knowledge that you've been sharing with me, like you've been doing this for like ever. I would have
No, I've
thought.
just loved jewelry forever. So when it comes to jewelry, I know what I know because of my own personal interest in it
Uh-huh.
and what I've
Well,
learned through other resellers.
and Cindy just is reminding us, do you have an auction coming up this Monday?
I
Jewelry
do. Me
auction?
and Casey will be on at 6 or 6:30 Eastern time Monday evening.
Right on. And San Juana, that's another good question. What do you like better, jewelry jars or jewelry bags? Because I know for me there's a difference, and I believe presentation is everything. So, with jewelry jars, you can see a lot of what's going on. Bags, gives me the impression it's thrown together, but you never know. You get a bag and there's some really killer stuff in there. I mean, so when you're looking, which one do you like better when you're buying?
When I'm buying, I buy either one because I want to go through it all. And I've found great stuff in bags and I've found great stuff in jars. So as much as if I can get a big bag of jewelry for 30 bucks or 40 bucks, or if I can get a big jar of jewelry for 30 or 40 bucks, it's mine. I'm grabbing it.
Well, speaking of that, have you ever bought any of, because I've been cruising eBay lately, looking at these, like vintage jewelry boxes that people are putting together. Have you ever bought any jewelry like that off of eBay? And if you have, um, was it like a total letdown, or have you scored on anything?
I have bought a couple here and there, and I did find some things that I liked, but a lot of times you have to be really careful with those because you can get a lot of broken pieces, just a bunch of nothing that you can really do a whole lot with. And they're not looking at the condition of what they're putting in there. They're not, like what I put together as lots for my auctions. I know what I'm looking at. I'm not going to give you something that's missing stones or worn out, but these people are just going and buying up whatever they can buy up and throwing it in a box and sending it to you. But that's how you can sometimes find the great stuff because they don't know what they're looking at and they're not really looking for anything maybe other than like gold. Some people are just looking for the gold out of it and they're going to take the gold out of it and throw everything else in the box.
All right. Barbara's got a good question. Is jewelry the only thing you collect?
No, I collect thing crystal, uh, nice crystal, vintage crystal pieces. I have crystal vases and bowls and picture frames and things like that all in my living room. I have two separate rooms, but my bougie living room, as Casey calls it, the one that I have like kind of an Art Deco period kind of theme going on in there. I have a lot of crystal on my bookcases and my mantle and stuff like that. And the compacts, the vintage makeup compacts, I like those too. So I have a collection of those. And then I have a little knickknack stuff like what I have over here, like random things that I found in jewelry jars that weren't really necessarily jewelry, but they're like stones. I have some nice stones in there and shells. And I found a sterling silver swan one time at a thrift store. So I have that in
Wow,
there. You don't want to see
that's
that? I can
amazing.
show it to
Yeah, I'd like to see that swan.
you.
I mean, finding stuff in a jewelry jar like that's amazing. I mean,
This one didn't come out of a jar, but it was sitting on the shelf. They probably thought it was just a trinket.
or like pewter or something.
Yeah, but you see right here, it's 925. It's
Oh,
marked.
wow. Is that a heavy piece?
It's hollow, but it's not like airlight. It's very sculptural. I like it.
Very
It's
pretty
beautiful.
piece. Got a little baby swan on its back.
Mm-hmm.
Very pretty. And why can't I find cool stuff like that?
I'm sure you do come across cool stuff that's
Uh,
your kind of cool stuff.
yeah. Anita's got a good question. What do you use to clean your jewelry?
I use Dawn dish soap. I use the blue Dawn dish soap and a toothbrush. If it's something like a chain that's heavily tarnished, I might put it down in the connoisseur's silver cleaner. And then I have my connoisseur's silver polishing cloth, and I use that as well.
Um, okay. Uh, I'm trying to catch up with the chat here, guys. I've been
But the
going,
main
trying to
point
slow
is
it down.
don't stick your stones like opals, pearls, any of your soft stones like that. Don't stick those down in the cleaners. Don't take a pendant like like this. Don't stick a pendant like this down in your sterling silver cleaner. Rub that with a polishing cloth because you want to keep some of the definition of that dark varnish inside there because that makes the piece stand out. But you would want to kind of rub some of that off on the back there and maybe off the back of those, but you want to keep inside those little crevices. You want to have that definition in the piece. So
That's a pretty piece.
that's a
$1.
Mexican sterling silver piece there. It's a brooch and pendant.
All right, we're starting a bidding at $1.
No.
Dwayne has a question for you. What YouTuber was the first from the reseller community that you found?
Probably Tanya. And then I don't know if everybody knows Margaret from her channel, Texas Gal Treasures, but she caught my eye too. So I would watch things because she had some instructional videos on how to test for certain things and stuff like that that were very helpful.
You know, and Layla had a question up here, and then she removed it, but it is a good question. And I do want to, and I do want to talk about it because I was in conversation with her early yesterday about shipping. You know, Layla's in Egypt, and a lot of sellers won't sell to people in international communities, like even to Canada and all, because customs. Like I know, for example, I've had an issue with the where they won't accept the delivery because of customs and duty fees. They want the stuff marked free, like it's a gift, or they want it marked like at $9. They don't hardly pay anything, and they don't claim it at customs, and so either customs is holding it, or I've never gotten stuff back, and then they file a charge back through PayPal, and the seller's out. I don't think I know for I would never think that Layla would be untrustworthy or any of that. She's a wonderful person. I love watching her videos. But she does bring up a good point. You and Casey did sell and ship to her during that one auction.
Yeah, we
Um,
did.
was there any hassle, or did you think the shipping was too exorbitant or too high? Or, I mean,
Well, it was
I'd
high
be
in my opinion, but she was willing to pay it, so that was fine.
because I would be more worried of it being stolen on her end. You know, we've got shifty postal workers here. I'm sure shifty postal workers everywhere saying one is worse than the other. It's just that would be my only concern is having a nice person like that not get a beautiful piece or get something. But I'm going to try to open up doing the. So you didn't find it difficult. You just filled out the green customs form, and that was that.
Yeah, when you print it out, there's a few things to fill out or whatever. Usually they want to know the price of the jewelry that you put in there, how many pieces or something like that that are in there. And we always have the option to add insurance. And if you're not comfortable necessarily, maybe you should ask that buyer to cover the insurance cost too. That way, in case something like that were to happen, then you would be reimbursed for your jewelry.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you what. When I start doing auctions, I will be shipping to Layla for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I've done Canada. There's a couple of people here in Canada that have bought from the auction. And on Etsy, I have no problem with Australia. I've sent a lot to Australia too.
well, you know what? Then is there anybody in the chat that can answer this that sells heavily on eBay? I know that I use global shipping service, so it goes to Kentucky. It's out of my hands. I can't get a negative feedback. You know, something happens, I don't lose my money. I thought Egypt and Middle Eastern countries were you couldn't ship jewelry to them. So does anybody know in the global shipping if eBay puts a restriction on that? Because obviously you didn't have a problem, April. They let it ship to each because I know some countries don't allow certain things like gems and certain items and jewelry and lighters and cigar accessories and stuff. They do have restrictions. So if anybody in chat can answer that, I'd really appreciate it. Um, Jewelry Nurse has a question. She says, I find it weird watching myself. My light's going out on me here. Watching myself on videos, so I'd rather watch my own. Do you watch your own videos?
I do. I go back and I look and it makes me feel weird. It definitely does. But I want to see maybe the way that I'm presenting myself. And then that way, if I feel like that didn't look appropriate or that didn't seem right or whatever, maybe I won't do that next time or something. I don't know. But then, y'all see me on here with my hair bunned up and in a hoodie, and that's just how I look. It's whatever.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because I did ask you when you said the bougie thing. You get your hair done. And all. I thought you wear dresses, and you said no, I don't wear dresses. But
I
I mean,
have a couple, but I don't really, unless it's a good occasion, an important occasion, then I might wear a dress. But yeah.
ooh, uh, Dia's got a good question here. Man, she's been pounding the questions good. What is your thoughts on Poshmark expanding to Canada within the next year and their big plans to go international? I'm assuming once they got, I know they're setting up a headquarters in Canada, and I know they're going to have to work out that postal thing because of the
Hmm.
customs and all, which I think is great that they're dealing with the U.S. postal the way they did. But to think of that and then them going international, so then like people like Layla might be able to sell her stuff on Poshmark and might be able to buy from people in the U.S. and have shipping with no problems. What do you think of that as far as that happening and how you think it is a good thing to do? It'll affect you pretty good, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, that will open up a larger market for us to sell to. I mean, one of the appeals is that some of the things that we sell here, they might not necessarily be able to buy there in their country. And so they want these things. And kind of the same with us. I might want something that's Egyptian, or I might want something that's from Europe. There's a lot of
Hmm.
vintage jewelry pieces in Europe that you don't find so easily around here. So yeah, to open up something like that, I say sounds pretty good. And since I already deal with international shipping on Etsy, I don't see it as a real problem. I don't know how they're going to give it a flat rate like they do with the $6 and whatever on Poshmark now. I don't know how they're going to work that shipping out, but I'm guessing they'll figure it out. But I think that's a good thing.
You guys got any more questions? Because I definitely don't want to run it too long because of that auction. I don't want to make sure everybody gets their drinks and gets their food and can relax and all. So if you guys got any questions, let's get
We
them on
did
in here
promise them
because
some stuff to show them.
I want them to see the stuff that you got out of jewelry jars that were these amazing finds. So, oh, we got one from Susan. What do you do if your item does not arrive and the person has talked to the shipper who says they never saw it? Have you ever had that happen?
What do you do if the item never arrives and the person talked to the shipper who says they never saw it? You
Like,
mean
I
like
guess you'd
I
say,
sent something out and I know that on my end it's telling me that it's been delivered, and they're saying nope, I've never gotten it. I've never had that issue. Um, but we have insurance through you know USPS or whatever. So if I had to, I mean, I would make sure I do what it takes to recover my money on the item. I don't know, since I've never really had to deal with that, but you really can't do anything but wait and see if they're going to say, "Oh, I finally got it," or whatever.
okay. And now they have been waiting for this because I built that up. The 4 items, awesome items you found. While you're doing that, I'm gonna grab the link real quick to Dwayne's channel, so everybody
Okay.
can make it to the auction tonight and see all the cool stuff that Carla's got. So go ahead and let's see them fine pieces.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. So the newest one I got the other night when we were doing the hangout with me, Casey, and Cindy Loves Jewelry was mounted in a really gaudy, ugly gold necklace, but this is a silver $1 coin, the Morgan silver dollar from 1890. So that was the one I got recently, and it is a real coin, and it doesn't look like it was heavily circulated. The ridges and the edges on the coin still are pretty deep and in good condition, but it does have the O under the where's it at? Under the eagle here. It has the O. Let's see if we can see it right there. So when I looked that up, that says it was minted in New Orleans. So this one is not the CC, the big dollar, big money one, but still worth way more than $1. It's in pretty good shape. It's not like rubbed off and the face all worn out or anything like that.
Nice piece. Nice piece. Nice coin.
And then the gold bar, this one didn't come out of a jar, but I paid $7 and something for it at Goodwill. It was just laid out there with their necklaces. And it is a Swiss gold bar of Fortuna. I wear it on this side so I can see the little lady on the front because I like the lady on the front.
Might want to pull it back a little bit. It was.
Is it way? Is that good?
Come up in a little bit more. No, it was just overpowering the screen. You couldn't. Oh, come on in a little bit with it.
Okay,
come closer, closer, close. There you go. That way they can see the whole coin and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty.
And this is the back of it. It has says Swiss 5 grams fine gold.
And how much did you pay for that?
$7 and something.
Well, isn't 5 grams worth more than $7?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it should be worth close to 200, I think, or so.
Good Lord.
And then it was on a cheap chain, but I put it on a gold 14 karat gold chain, but this is 24 karat gold bar.
Nice.
That's that. And then I have found some Tiffany necklaces. Unfortunately, I didn't get to authenticate them yet, but I have seen these pieces online sold as Tiffany. This one's marked $19.99. It's got a star, so of course I kept that one for myself.
What's your gut tell you on that? You got the real deal?
It looks real. Yeah, these came out of jars, so I didn't pay much of anything for them a piece. And this one here is the newest one I found. Now that one didn't have the actual Tiffany chain. The star pendant didn't, but this one is actually on the Tiffany marked chain. And that's one of the things to look at too, is the little tag that's on there. If the writing and stamping on it's real messy and junky, because it has these little tags right here that say Tiffany and Company and all that. But this one is like this, T and Co. Now I know that's like shifted and off-centered and all of that, but when I looked it up online, that's the way it was meant to be on this piece. So
you might want to pull back a little bit. There you go. That way they can see the whole thing. That's pretty cool. And those were in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably like pennies on the piece. I mean, not pennies, but at least under $1 probably.
Oh yeah, and then I found a big James Avery cross the same way.
Now James Avery, that sells pretty high,
and it
don't
was on a James Avery. Mm-hmm. Yep. We actually started selling James Avery at Dillard's here now. So I might actually start finding more of that in the thrift stores and stuff too, because we have it at our Dillard's down here. They started selling James Avery and Louis Vuitton. And then this is a matching pendant and earrings with the white buffalo in it.
Oh man, I love that white buffalo. That's a pretty piece.
There's the earrings. I got super excited when I pulled these out.
You find some really cool stuff, man.
I can't lie, I do. I do really find some nice pieces that are worth a lot of money, but I don't end up making the money off of them because they end up going in my jewelry box.
You're keeping the white buffalo and the Tiffany?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. I like how you said that. Uh-huh.
Well, not this one. This one, the second one, the more recent one that I found, one that authenticated, I will sell that one. That one's not really that appealing to me. But the one with the star, because I like stars, I will keep it.
Uh-huh.
And I wear this one to the casino for good luck. The gold bar, I wear that one to the casino all the time.
Did it work?
It has, yeah.
Oh gosh, man. Susan wants to clarify on that shipping thing, where they said they didn't get it. She says, nope, I mean the shipper denies it ever arrived for them to deliver. So that means the that would be like, I guess if it went UPS and you're like, you're expecting it, and then UPS says, oh, well, we never got it, you know,
Oh, you mean like when they haven't even received it when you dropped it off to be delivered?
or her receiving something, and they're saying, well, we never received the package. So we couldn't, how can you
Oh,
deliver something we don't receive?
yeah, there's nothing to do. I don't know what you would do in that
Yeah,
situation. That's
I
why,
think,
like, if you take your stuff to the post office, the best thing to do. Now, I'm lazy about this, and I've dealt with my post office enough to know that I've never had this trouble. But you know how like you can go in, you can drop your packages off since we've already printed out the label and everything. You can just drop them off over there, and they'll do it later. You might want to actually wait in line and actually get them to um, process it and give you a receipt for it. Because once you have the receipt for it, they can't deny that they never received it.
all right, well, that, I mean, it's a really a weird world that we're in, I mean, the way the shipping and the buying the stuff, and I mean, it's just, I guess, a large portion of it's just the luck of the draw. I mean, obviously, look at what you've got: White Buffalo, Gold Bar, Tiffany, Morgan Silver Dollar, uh, a Sterling Silver Swan that they probably thought was nothing. I mean, and I guess a part of it is you got to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, if you're not out there sourcing, if you're not out there pounding it and tearing it up, you're not going to find it. Somebody else is.
Yeah, and knowing what you're looking for.
Now, thinking about that, how many days a week do you source?
Depends on how I'm feeling. I mean, it could be as many as 3 times a week, like just to go down to the Goodwill, because I have one really close to my house that I find lots of good stuff at. And then I have another one across town. And then if I'm hanging out with Casey or something and I'm going his way, he's got a Salvation Army there. And there's a Goodwill in Opelika that we can go to. And all of these three that I just mentioned do jewelry jars. And we found really good stuff at all three of those. So, yeah, like it just depends. Like it's going to be at least once a week, though.
Once a week. Okay, that's a minimum. Um, Susan, what I would tell you is, she wants to go after the shipper or the person I bought it from. What I would do is this: if the shipper says they didn't receive it, then I would go to the person you bought it from, because they're going to have to show proof for tracking, depending on where you bought it from. And if they refuse to do anything and to help you find it, I would just do what Cupcake does. I do a chargeback, because I don't play that game. You buy something, right? Person says they shipped it. The shipper says I never got it. Somebody's lying. So something's happened somewhere. The only recourse I think you would have would be go ahead and I would file a chargeback. Use PayPal or you use your credit card. Um, yeah, and Velvet Snow says the same. Sunflower says the same thing. We don't have jewelry jars at our three Goodwills. They are so jacked up in prices that to nearly match eBay. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Why that is. You get good jewelry jars. They're $75 here in Texas. Cindy Jewelry Nurse says she buys them up and she gets them like cheap. And I think I see Anita gets them. I don't know why you
You
guys
get
get
good
such good
stuff
prices.
too.
And yeah, so
Well,
anyway,
we have the auctions, and I'm going to have a jewelry jar available Monday night that I'm packing with silver, designer vintage pieces, some natural stone stuff. So, y'all can keep your eye out for the auctions and stuff. You can get jars through us. Now, I know you're not going to get them for the price that we pay, but there is so much. I mean, you can take one of those jars and make a killing off of, the stuff that I'm going to put in there.
all right. Well, join the chat now. The reason I have it locked on April was because the show's all about April and not me. But now that I'm back, because I think we kind of wrap it up, guys. It's 6:15. That gives everybody enough time to enjoy a dinner or enjoy a meal, not get all in a rush and a hurry. And so I want to thank you all for being here. Especially, I want to thank April. I learned so much. Man, guys, I'm telling you, if you got a question, contact her, pick her brain. She knows exactly what she's doing. Just like any of the other jewelry people we have here, like Tanya, Treasured Vintage. Anita. I mean, I'm just bouncing a few names off. I mean, these are the people that I would be looking forward to talking to get some good answers. So, you know, don't be afraid to reach out and contact them. I want to thank April again for being here. I want to thank you guys, all my subs. I love you guys. I will correct the links after this ends. I will correct the links and I'll get the correct links in the description so you can always come back and click those. Don't forget tonight, 7 p.m. Central, Mothership Products auctions. Dwayne has Princess Casserole Carla on, and you know Carla's a big jewelry. She's another one, a big jewelry person, and you know she's going to have some good stuff. Monday, Casey and April have an auction, and then don't you have one Wednesday with Barb on crafting?
That's the craft auction. I'll have
Yeah.
some natural stone beads, glass beads, stampers. I've got some vintage clothing patterns if anyone's interested that does, you know, that kind of thing or wants to resell those. And I'm just going to keep looking and see what else I have in there.
Angie, the cupcake that I speak of is me. That name was coined by Barbara, Babsy1316, because I was eating a cupcake and I had sticky fingers and I didn't want to touch my keyboard. And so now I'm Cupcake and I'm happy with that. My kids call me Cupcake. My granddaughter calls me Cupcake. It's better that than some other things that get tossed around. But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was a great interview. If you guys know anybody that should be interviewed, let's get them on. We want to help them out, help their channel out. Just send me an email at askmike@yahoo.com, and then I'll go watch their videos and we'll get in touch with them. As always, before I let you go, I want to ask God to bless each and every one of you, my subs, my special guests, those that'll be coming and watching afterwards when reloads. I want to ask him to bless you all with great health, much success, happy life, happy family, happy kids, and some great finds like Gold Bar, Tiffany's, and Matt Morgan Dollars, and who knows, Lord, throw us a Cougar Rand too once in a while, all right? And with that said, I want to say y'all have a great night. Enjoy the auction tonight, and we'll see you next Saturday or Monday at Casey and April's auction, all right? So, Rollin Picker out. Bye-bye, guys.